Blast is Saitama from the future.
Saitama is Blast, probably.
Still training.
First hero,
So
I
he's
guess
Saitama with
Saitama,
no
he's
way.
Blast, now
Calls
we're
him
winning the
I have a theory, or maybe
Blast
speaking
became
Saitama.
Alright, let's get into it. In this video, we're going to be talking about the identity of Blast. But let me also clarify that I don't get enjoyment or like a rush of dopamine from proving others wrong or debunking information or anything like that. If you have conflicting opinions or views to my own, or you have like a staunch view on a hypothesis or a theory, that's fine. Keep having it. I don't care. This video is for people who are legitimately confused or genuinely want to know what's really going on with Blast. Other than that, I'm going to have to go into webcomic spoiler stuff in order to get to the nitty-gritty about this. There's no other way I could really talk about Blast without doing that, so if you don't want to know what's going to happen, I suggest you check out now. So before we get into this, I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Amino app. So Amino has a new feature called Amino Stories. They combine interest-driven topics and a fun short-form video format in a way that is unique to their own platform. And of course, ya boy has his very own stories on Amino. This one in particular you can find on my global profile. I'm excited about this one because it's about our friend Glasses and his significance to the story, something I haven't really currently talked about on the channel yet. And of course, there are tons of other awesome stories in tons of other communities. So if you're interested in supporting me, please follow me on Amino and check out my stories on there. All the links will be in the description. Thanks, guys. So first and foremost, Blast is not Saitama. Sorry guys, if you wanted that to be true, it's just sadly not. And of course, I'm going to explain why. So the first time we see Blast chronologically in the storyline is when he appears to save Tatsumaki from that facility that she was in as a child. This happens 18 years before the current story, meaning that Saitama, who is 25 currently, would have only been 7 years old at that time. So we actually do see Saitama when he's 12 years old in the bonus chapter 200 yen. And he has no special abilities, he's not strong or anything, he gets beat up by bullies, he gets beat up by wolf level monsters. Yeah, there's nothing significant about Saitama as a child. But also, if we go back 15 years, even 3 years ahead of when he saved Tatsumaki, it was recently revealed that Blast had defeated the founder of the ninja village, like the Dark Ninja Lord. So yeah, he was incredible, and Saitama not so much. But hey, maybe that's not good enough still, so let's keep going. 2 years prior to the current story, Blast famously had defeated Elder Centipede, and this is where people really start thinking that the two co-align with each other, but no, not really, because Saitama at this time was still training. He was still wearing the blue tracksuit and still had not yet removed his limiter, because around this time frame, tiger level monsters such as the incarnation of the electric light string was still giving Saitama some serious problems. So yeah, there's no way that Saitama at that point could have defeated Elder Centipede. He couldn't even have done anything to Elder Centipede, so yeah. But aside from that, there's also the wild theory that Blast is Saitama from the future. There's another one where Blast got amnesia back in the day, and that's why Saitama doesn't remember that he is Blast. There's also that theory that Blast gave Saitama his power for some reason. There's also the one where there's some kind of Shazam type ability going on with Saitama and Blast, and then there's the really wild one where some kind of multiversal time paradox thing is going on where Blast and Saitama are one and the same person existing in the same reality. Guys, let's just go to Occam's razor here and just have to remember that the hypothesis that has the least amount of assumptions is likely the correct one. Like, if you have to go out on a limb with all of these wild theories that have no clues or context in the story to support them, it's likely not the case, even, you know, with anime theories and whatnot. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's go to the next big suspect of who Blast could be, and that is Orochi. So yes, Orochi is not Blast either, and this is because Murata, the illustrator of One Punch Man, said on a live stream last year that Orochi being Blast, oh, this is interesting, Blast is really strong, I don't want him to die. Plus, Tatsumaki won't mention her relationship with Blast until much later. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video. So he won't be making an entrance now, therefore that is not a possibility. This just debunks it right there. I don't really have to go any further, but I'll just also say that Orochi isn't in the webcomic, while Blast is. We also see Psychos meet the human version of Orochi, and Psychos totally knows who Blast is because she mentions him during the war. And also, Orochi is likely dead now, so yeah. So now let's knock off the other lingering suspects as to who Blast could be. So Moomin Rider is not Blast. I mean, come on. And if you want me to confirm it, Moomin Rider also shows up in the 200 yen bonus chapter, just like Saitama does, because they're the same age and it's implied that they went to the same school. So Moomin Rider is not Blast for the same reason that Saitama isn't. It just doesn't line up with the timeline, and he's friggin' Moomin Rider, and he's not like some kind of hidden, crazy, powerful dude. That is not the purpose of Moomin Rider's character. Also, we have one of the Hero Association dudes, Sekengar. He's not Blast either, because we see his abilities in Chapter 94. All he can really do is shoot that eye laser, and he's not really hiding in plain sight with that, which I'm going to go over with the other lingering ones here. So let's go to Sitch. People believe that Sitch is Blast as well, because first of all, he has that inside scoop on Blast about how when he's like, if humanity is in danger, Blast will surely come out. And he also knows other things about how Blast doesn't want to be in the limelight and all that stuff. Also, when the Okame Mask reads Sitch in that bonus chapter numbers, it reads him as 0. And 0 could be taken as too weak to be read or too powerful to be read. And this makes people think that, oh, he's just too powerful. That's why the Okame Mask didn't read him. No, Sitch isn't Blast. Because Sitch is just way too old to be Blast. That would mean like Blast was like near his 50s or in his 50s when he saved Tatsumaki, and that doesn't seem to be the case. Also, he doesn't look like Blast unless there's some kind of like Oda type of aging going on here. But like I said before, Blast, if he is hiding in plain sight in the Hero Association, I don't think one is using Sitch as a device for that, but I'll go into who he possibly could be later. And then we have Draper, the tailor from the Road to Hero OVA. So yeah, this guy isn't Blast either, mainly because just like Sitch, he's too old and doesn't look like Blast. But also, like, if he was Blast, don't you think that he wouldn't be susceptible to being bullied the way that he was? Like, I get that if you're saying he's holding back because he doesn't want to show his power, but still, why would he allow all of those hardships to fall on him if he just easily could just snap his fingers and undo it all? I don't know, it just doesn't seem likely to me. But I think there is a possibility that maybe this guy made Blast's costume. You know, since it shares so many aesthetic similarities to Saitama's own costume. So now let's talk about a Blast identity theory that I think is somewhat plausible. So we're gonna go to the bearded worker here. Yes, that's his name, which is very interesting that we don't get his name at all, not even a hint as what it is. I mean, his literal name, as far as we know, is bearded worker. Unless on his birth certificate it says first name bearded, last name worker. But anyway, let's go back to the age thing that I was debunking with Sitch and Draper. So, back 18 years ago when Blast saved Tatsumaki, it appeared as though Blast was like in his 20s, I guess, at the 30s at his oldest, I suppose. But if we're going 18 years on top of that, it would put Blast in his 40s, which appears to be how old the bearded worker could be. I mean, it just seems like maybe he's in his early 40s, you know. Anime age is ambiguous sometimes, and it's really hard to tell, but I do think this guy is likely in that age range. He also seems to have a deep passion about defending against the monsters. Like, he seems to show more emotion towards defending against them than the other Hero Association workers. And it's just odd that so much emphasis and time is spent on this character despite us not really knowing much about him. So he's also aware that Genos was the one who blew up the House of Evolution, just based off of the context clues from it. He's also one of the very few people in the Hero Association to give Saitama the benefit of the doubt. Like back when Saitama was asking for the location of the Deep Sea King, he decided to give Saitama the information despite him being a C-class hero because he looked at his records and results from the test that he took and he was like, well, maybe this guy is super powerful. Well, we're going to find out here. but also he knows about Elder Centipede. Like, it specifically made sure that we know that he is the one giving the information to King, or at least giving it to that girl to relay to King about the information about Elder Centipede. And that's kind of odd, isn't it? Because we know specifically that Blast is the one who took down Elder Centipede. So I just think it's a little odd that it is this guy specifically who is relaying that information. Now, maybe it's just me. But, I don't know, this all lines up with the theory that this is Blast and he's just hiding in plain sight. Like, Blast, as was stated by Sitch, hates the limelight and doesn't want attention, but he also kind of wants humanity to defend themselves and not really rely too much on the heroes. So if this is Blast and he truly does have a passion for saving people and being a hero, because of course Blast was a hero before it was cool, before the Hero Association even existed, 15 years precisely. So this could be Blast hiding in plain sight, keeping his finger on the pulse of everything that's going on with the monsters and the Hero Association and everything. And also, the Bearded Worker is in the webcomic. It's not like he was added to the manga to supplement the story or anything. So it's possible that one had this big reveal in mind from the very beginning. But also, in Season 1, there's this odd scene where Tatsumaki is like intimidating the Bearded Worker. And this scene in particular kind of throws people off from the plausibility of this theory, but I think it might actually strengthen it, because remember, we've been talking about the whole video, the whole connection between Tatsumaki and Blast. So I think if anyone knows the identity of Bearded Worker being Blast, it is Tatsumaki, and that she might just be playing along with this, just, you know, to keep Blast's identity under wraps, but making sure that she's also, you know, having her own dignity on display here, possibly. One thing that throws this off is when Tatsumaki, or after she has her whole confrontation with Saitama, after he leaves, she says, "Blast, when are you going to return?" So either that means that Blast is totally MIA and that he is the Bearded Worker, or she's simply talking about when is the Bearded Worker going to come back into action and start fighting again or something. You know, there's so many possibilities, and I don't really 100% believe that the Bearded Worker is Blast. I'm just saying that I think if any theory is plausible, it's this one. Also, there's one other huge theory out there that Saitama is the son of Blast, and this could be true, I suppose, since they share similarities in their appearances, but I just don't think it's the case, because Dr. Genus specifically says that Saitama was born with no talent, he's just a normal dude, and that he attained his power through hard work and perseverance. And the main strength of this theory is that Saitama was able to achieve the level of power that he has because he is the son of Blast. And if that is true, I think that would kind of conflict with the narrative that one has set up here for Saitama. Because don't you think that would take away from everything that Saitama is if he was just born with the potential to become strong rather than him earning it the hard way that he did? So in closing, I think that Blast is just Blast. He's not somebody that we've met. He's not some crazy time traveler or any kind of weird theory going on. He's just Blast. He's always been there. And he's likely going to reveal himself eventually in the story, maybe as the leader of the Neo Heroes, but I'm going to be talking about that in another video, where I'm going to be talking about why Blast is likely going to fight Saitama in the future of the story. But until then, let me know what you think about this video, and if you liked it, please give it a like. And I also have a Patreon, gives you access to a weekly Q&A that I do, and if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.